and welcome back to another episode of Bantz with Lawrencia on the Lawrencia TV, a channel that celebrates ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So please subscribe, like, share, and also click on the notification bell to get notified anytime I post new content. So for today's episode, I want to talk about the cost of living in abroad and how students or just new immigrants cope with this cost and the shortcuts that people take. Not necessarily the best, shortcuts, but these are things that people do to manage cost of living abroad. So last week I talked about a video of a friend who moved in with a boyfriend of hers to be able to manage her cost of living. And, a friend called me and said, Lawrencia, that bus pass is not one of the problems that she had, but, she had other problems. And let me just tell you about this friend. So I started blogging in 2013, and this lady reached out to me on Facebook to say that, oh, I like your content. I am, a very big fan of yours. And we started talking on Facebook. And basically, she's from my side, from the East, from Enugu State to be precise. And I just saw her as a sister. We started talking, we exchanged numbers, and we just started talking about then I was, a student, she was a student, and we're talking about how we're getting along as students. So she told me that for her to save cost, she moved in with her boyfriend, and she loved this guy, but one of the problem was because she's a student, the guy also, he came in with a visiting visa. He doesn't have his documents and she is living with him. They were sharing their bills together. And sometimes he buys food, sometimes she buys, like they're just cohabiting together and in a relationship. So she's basically providing all the wifey benefits to him. And he is in turn helping her out with sharing the bills and giving her monetary value of bus pass. So I was like, okay, if you like the arrangements, like there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're happy with it. And she said, well, the only disadvantage there is because she doesn't have papers, he treats her really bad. He beats her up. Like, this is the UK. And he was literally beating her up, maltreating her. From what she was saying, he is like a really violent kind of person. So I was thinking, okay, why are you with this guy? If he's all this to you, why are you still staying with him? And she explained that, well, she cannot leave because if she leaves this guy, she will have to go and rent a place for herself, and she would struggle in terms of getting money to pay her bills. At this point, I was footing my own bills. I didn't see a big deal in it, and I was telling her, well, it's not that bad. You just have to work extra hard to be able to pay your bills for yourself. And maybe you would kind of cut down in terms of, because she was popping on social media. She was popping on social media. Basically, the extra money that she has, she was spending, living her life, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I just told her, well, you just have to cut down some of those things that you are doing in order to pay your bills by yourself. And she said, well, she's going to think about it. You know how you're talking to somebody and you realize that they are listening to you, but they're not hearing what you're saying. And I couldn't have a friendship with somebody who is okay with being abused physically, mentally, because she said a whole lot of things, the way the guy talks to her, just because she doesn't have papers. Like, he was cheating. He would literally sleep with her. After that, go to the sitting room and call ladies. This guy was basically, he had different ladies, different countries, because he was also trying to sort his papers. So he has this other relationship that whenever a lady is coming in, he would tell her to basically go out of the house even if she's going to stay for a week, she will have to go and look for another accommodation to stay. And his explanation was the fact that, I am trying to get my papers. Well, if I get the papers, it will also benefit you. So she was putting up with a whole lot In fact, there was a time she told me that a lady from America who the guy was trying to get to give him papers came all the way from America, and she stayed for a whole week. She literally cooked different assorted food, put in the freezer, and left the house. She went to stay with another friend of hers, and this lady came to the house and stayed for a week. After the week she left, she came back to her boyfriend's house, and they continued life. I don't know what kind of relationship is that, but they continued. His excuse was that, oh, he is trying to get her to give him papers, and whenever he gets his papers, then he can do something for her. At the same time, he had other relationship in the UK, or trying to get into relationship with people who have their papers in the UK. And while he's doing all these things, he has her by the side. Well, she is very faithful to him. She is very loyal to him, but he has his fingers in every pie that you can think of. And the excuse was that he is trying to regularize his stay. At the same time, he is physically abusive to her, mentally, emotionally. And I was thinking, why are you with this person? Instead of you to work hard to pay your bills, you're depending on an abuser. That is not even your husband. That is not even faithful to you. Like, why are you even doing all those things? Anyway, I kind of stopped talking to her, stopped picking her calls for some time, because I was just tired of the whole story, because there is always something. It's either he's abusive, he's hitting her, this is the UK. I mean, people think there are no, because of the whole laws of the UK favoring women, people usually think that women don't get abused in the UK. That is a lie. A lot of abuse is happening, physically, mentally. Like, you would be shocked. Anyway, fast forward a few months later, a friend of mine invited me to end of the year party and also a wake-keep. So basically, we went from the wake-keep because the end of the year party was starting later, and when you're just young and hopping from one party to the other. So we went to the wake-keep first before going to the end of the year party, because that one was starting later and we wanted to start partying early. So we went to the wake-keep, and when we were there, I saw this lady. Mind you, I've never met the lady in person. This was just pictures on social media. And I saw this lady looking at me, and she looked familiar. And I was thinking she was the one, but you know how people look alike, and I didn't want to embarrass myself going to somebody to say, I know you from somewhere, and then that is not the person. So I just kept it cool. I waved at her, she waved at me. After spending some time at the wake-keep, we were told that the end of the year party has started. We went to the end of the year party, and lo and behold, we met her there. Apparently, she left the wake-keep before us. I didn't even notice all those things. So when we got to the end of the year party, I saw her, and actually she now walked up to me and she said, are you Lawrencia? I said, yes. And I was like, oh my God, are you this person? She said, yes. That was how we now started talking. We had our own table. So I didn't even realize she came with other people, because she came to talk to me. So I didn't see her with any group of people. And she now moved to our table. We were dancing, we were drinking, we were having fun, end of the year party, basically. You get the picture. So I went to get my food, because it was kind of a buffet arrangement. I went to get my food, and when I came back, my friend was telling me that my friend is outside crying. I was like, which of my friend? Because at this point, I wasn't even thinking he was talking about her. So I was like, which of my friend? He said, well, the girl that is sitting with me, that she's outside crying. I was like, outside crying? What do you mean she's outside crying? So we went outside together. This lady was literally, sitting on the floor. She was wailing, she was shouting, she was crying. She was like, her boyfriend slapped her and beat her up just because she was sitting at our table and dancing with my friends. I said, is this the same boyfriend that you were telling me about? She said, yes. At this point, I literally lost it. I looked at him, I was raging at this point, and I'm like, I know you don't have your papers. Today I'm going to call the police. Today you're going to be deported. Like, you're going to Nigeria. This night you're going to sleep at the cell. From tomorrow you're going to the detention center. I was boiling. Now everybody was now trying to calm me down. Everybody was now trying to calm me down. I was trying to get up to, because I didn't even have my purse with me, but I was just cursing and swearing, and I was literally mad. Now she was trying to calm me down. When I mentioned police, I was just trying to threaten him. I was not going to call the police, obviously, but I was just trying to threaten him to let him know that, listen, you can do that behind closed doors, but coming in public when you don't even have your papers to put your hands on another person, a woman for that matter, like, literally today is the day that you're going to know that where your craze stops is where somebody else's craze starts. I was screaming. I was just shouting, get me my phone. I am going to call the police. She stopped crying. She was trying to calm me down. Other people were trying to calm me down. The party ended. Those that don't have their papers started looking for ways to get home. My friend was trying to drag me out of the whole place. That was how my friend finally succeeded in getting me out of there. And he just called a taxi, and the taxi took me home. And that was how the party literally ended. Some people continue the party, but in a Nigerian gathering, there's a possibility that a lot of them will not have papers. So once you mention police, everybody will start going home, because even those that have papers may be doing one dodgy thing or the other. They don't want to get involved with the police. So I left. She left. I tried calling her that when I got home, and she wasn't picking up. So I just felt it's been a very heavy day. So let me just let her be and let everybody just calm down. So I remember calling her. This was like on a Saturday. I tried calling her on Sunday and she didn't pick up. So on Monday at work, I think during the break time, I decided to put a call across to her. I called her and she picked up. The first thing she said was, I threatened to call the police on her boyfriend. And I was like, how did I become the bad person in this whole situation? I mean, you were assaulted. Your boyfriend beats you at home. He came to a public event and he beats you just because you sat down at my table with my friends who are guys, and he beats you in public because of that. And I try to defend you, and you're telling me I threatened to call the police on your boyfriend, knowing that he doesn't have papers. And I'm like, did I call the police? I was just trying to threaten him because according to you, you told me that this guy has been beating you up. He has been cheating. He has been maltreating you mentally, insulting you, being abusive to you. And he did not even do that just at home. He did that in public, in my presence. I was like, I lost it. Yes, I threatened to call the police. I was not going to call the police, but I just wanted to threaten him to ensure that he does not try that next time. And now you're telling me, your boyfriend, I threatened to call the police on your boyfriend. I just couldn't continue with that conversation because I was like, you know what? There are some people who are happy to be in abusive situations, whether home, whether in diaspora, just because of bills. If you don't want to take responsibility for your life and you're, perching on somebody else, that person can turn out to be an abusive person, and you may not want to leave that situation because of the benefit you're getting. Because of in this girl's situation, he is helping her out. They are sharing bills. He is buying food sometimes and she is buying food sometimes, so it's just like 50-50, and he is giving her monetary value. He was giving her bus pass, and this was enough reason for her to stay in an abusive situation, in an abusive relationship, where she knows that he was cheating on her just because she wants to, I don't even know why. Just because you want to what? Everybody needs help. Everybody needs a companion. Everybody needs a shoulder to cry on. Everybody needs somebody to be there for them. But don't accept certain help that will make you miserable. Don't accept certain help that will put you in a physically bad situation. Don't accept help knowing that this person is a bad person, but you just want to do it because the situation you're in, you'd rather pay half of the bills and use the rest half to flex. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't stay in an abusive relationship because of any reason, regardless of what the situation you find yourself in. Always try to strive to be better, because once you're in a very uncomfortable situation, you are going to find a way to get out of it. But if you're in a comfort zone, somebody is telling you you're staying with somebody who is abusing you, and just because that person is helping you out with one or two bills or one or two cash here and there, you're taking everything because you think, if I get out of this whole relationship, how am I going to fend for myself? You can fend for yourself. You can. It is very doable. It is very possible. So let us try and help ourselves, for our own sake. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. Please like and share. Bye bye.